What made some animals clean and others unclean, as mentioned in Genesis chapter 7? Noah took 2 of every kind of animal into the ark, right? Well, not exactly. The Bible states, "Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth." Genesis 7:2-3. The Hebrew phrase translated 7 pairs literally means 7 sevens, so there is some question as to whether Noah took 7 specimens of each clean species, which would be 3 pairs and an extra or 7 pairs. Either way, he was told to take more clean animals than unclean on the ark. Only the unclean animals came in pairs, as stated in Genesis 6:19. Leviticus chapter 11 defines the difference between clean and unclean animals, but Noah lived before the giving of the law. We are not told how Noah knew which animals were clean and unclean, but he obviously knew the difference. Sacrifices to God were made before the Mosaic law, as seen in Genesis 4:4, which means God had somehow communicated to man what animals were suitable for sacrifice and later for eating. Leviticus 11 specifies which birds, land animals, and sea creatures were clean and unclean. Here are a few of the clean and unclean animals in those lists. Clean animals, land animals that chew the cud and have a divided hoof, such as cattle, deer, goats, and sheep. Seafood with both fins and scales, such as bluegill, grouper, and cod. Certain birds, including chickens, doves, and ducks, and even some insects, such as grasshoppers and locusts. Unclean animals, land animals that either do not chew the cud or do not have a split hoof, such as pigs, dogs, cats, horses, donkeys, and rats. Seafood lacking either fins or scales, such as shellfish, lobster, oysters, and catfish. Some birds, such as owls, hawks, and vultures, and other animals, such as reptiles and amphibians. While the New Testament teaches that we are no longer judged regarding what foods we eat, as mentioned in Colossians chapter 2, verse 16, nutritionists have noted that the listings of clean and unclean foods in the Old Testament actually provide a guideline for a healthy diet. In a time period lacking modern food safety techniques, a diet consisting of only clean animals would have protected people against many health problems. Ultimately, God's distinction between clean and unclean animals was about more than one's diet. Many of God's regulations were to remind his people, Israel, that they were set apart to worship the one true God. The original audience of Genesis chapter 7 during Moses' day would have associated the reference to clean animals with the animals God had given them for food as well as sacrifice. It would only make sense to include more clean animals than unclean on the ark. Noah made a sacrifice immediately after the flood, as mentioned in Genesis chapter 8, verse 20. Since 7 pairs of every clean animal had been aboard, the sacrifices would still have left plenty of animals to begin replenishing the earth.